All right. And we are here. I think we have everybody. How's it going?
Hello, it's all good from here. From England, it's cloudy, rainy,
For-
but other than that, it's good.
is it ever not cloudy and rainy in England? I know it has that reputation, but I can't imagine it's that way 24/7. Is it?
Well, to be honest, us English like to kind of like build that up. We like to glorify the misery of the weather in this country for some reason. But we did have this is one cloudy day. We've had some good days recently.
Glorify the misery. I like that. It's almost like a shared
It's the British
trauma sort
way.
of thing. Yes. Yeah, it's like, just because we can. Yeah. I actually really don't know where our other guests are based right now, and so yeah, I'm gonna kick it off. And if Severin, I want to pass over to you to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, hello from Poland. My name is
Poland, that's
Severin,
right.
and yes, yeah, the sky is clear, the sun is out, so yeah.
Yes, there we go.
My name is Severin, and I am a Power App developer and a co-founder of Mic. And today I'm going to talk about Google Forms Sync Power App. Thank you.
Awesome. And we're super excited to hear about it. I'll pass over to you, Khan.
Hi, my name's Khan. I am I guess, also a Power developer. A weekend side project kind of guy, indie developer, I guess. Full-time job, I work at a big tech company in just integrations and plugins. I've been in that industry for about 10 years now, as in like building plugins and APIs. And I also used to work at Trello on the Power Apps platform and ecosystem, and also the Atlassian ecosystem team building Atlassian Connect. And I was also on the founding team of Atlassian Forge. And I'm also going to be talking about a Forms Power App I built a while back. Yeah. And I'm based in New
Yeah.
York, and it's also gloomy today.
Actually, here we go. I'm in Tennessee right now. I'm based in Baton Rouge, but I'm in the foothills of the mountains of Tennessee, and it is very sunny, almost as warm as it is in Baton Rouge here. So, yeah, I'm super excited to have everybody here. If you don't know me, my name is Brittany. I am obsessed with Trello and all things Trello. I have a newsletter and a YouTube channel, which might be where you're watching this, or maybe you're watching this on LinkedIn. But yeah, I am obsessed with Trello. And my co-host here, Mike, we are so obsessed with Trello. We made a whole Atlassian chapter of events all about Trello, and we are the Trello Trailblazers. And so you are here for our first event in our new series about Mighty Morphin Power Up Rangers, where we're going to go through different power ups and just talk through using different power ups to solve specific problems. And in today's episode, we are talking about how to get information into Trello. And so, yeah, I'll pass over to Mike if you want to introduce yourself and say a little bit more for folks who don't know us. And for those who are joining in the chat, I would love for you to post. I see we've already got the trend of where you're from and what your weather is. Do that. And also how you heard about this event. We had so many people RSVP for this event. I'm just genuinely curious. How did you hear about this event? Because we've done a couple things and I want to know what makes the biggest difference. So if you want to post in the chat where you're from, what's the weather, and how you heard about this event. And in the meantime, I'll pass over to Mike to tell us more about himself and this event.
Yeah, so like Brittany, I'm obsessed with Trello. It's an unhealthy obsession. I think we both share, which is why we get on so well. And yeah, we just want to find as many people as obsessed, or try and make more Trello trailblazers and people who love it as much as we do. So I've been consulting for Trello. I've been using Trello for a long time, and been consulting with it for the last 3 or 4 years with my own consultancy company. And yeah, I've been building out lots of systems in Trello and kind of trying to make it do magic that people don't realize it can do. So this Trailblazer chapter and the kind of episodes that we've got will also be sharing some of that information, so you can all make Trello do some great things too.
Absolutely. Let me see. One second. All right. So, let me see here. So let's go ahead and kind of kick things off. Let's talk about why we're here today to talk about getting information into Trello via forms and different tools. And so let's maybe talk about why do we care about that? Why do we need to get things into Trello? And I know for me, one of my biggest use cases is I try so hard to get everybody to use Trello, but I'll be darned, sometimes I just can't get people to use it. Or sometimes I want people to be able to get things into my board, but not be able to see my board or actually edit the content on my board. And sometimes I just need ways for people to give me some information. And even if they're not going to create a Trello card, fill out this information and it creates a card for me in Trello. And so I know that's a big use case for me. I used to use it for need this type of functionality for when I was creating ads, and I would have people request ads through me, and I'd need, tell me the title of the ad, tell me the description, give me some images and things that you want to do there. And so I know that that's a big use case for me. But what about you, Mike? What are some ways that you see folks needing to get information into Trello?
Yeah, so the two things that I see I'll start with the first one because it has been something that's been contentious for a while and something we've had to deal with for a while. Quite a lot of people want to get information in Trello from people they don't want to have to sign up or access their workspace, either because they don't want to have to pay for them or because they don't want them to be inside the Trello workspace. And some people have customers who don't want to be using Trello. So using forms is a way to get information from outside people without having to have them inside your Trello and having to pay for them and that kind of thing. And also it's just so being able to have a form just makes it look a little bit more formal, a bit more professional. If you've got, say you're a marketing company and you want customers to be able to make requests that you then action, like it's so much nicer to send them a form that they can fill out than send them a link to the Trello board and they have to navigate a Trello card and try and figure out what's going on. So those are the sort of two purposes that I think forms can be used for. And also, we're using it for feedback today, and that's another great thing. You can use it. In our last event, we used the Trello board as a poll, but actually using forms is also a great way to kind of get people's feedback. So yeah, that's and the reason why you may use the power-ups for this is because they allow a little bit more integration with Trello compared to the external tools like Jotform. For example, like with Blue Cat forms and Tiny forms, you can connect to custom fields directly, and they work instantly as well. You submit a form, it's straight on the Trello board, which is something we'll test out. Hopefully, it'll work as we just said. But yeah, those are the kind of things that motivate me to use form power-ups.
Yes, absolutely. And yes, we are all hoping the demo gods work in our favor today. So yeah, I completely agree with that. And thanks everybody in the chat. Like, we have risen here to share where we are in our weather. It seems there's a combination of hot and rainy, and we've got all sorts of things here. And yeah, thanks for sharing where you heard about this event from. It seems like we've definitely got some folks here from our last event, and we've also got some folks here from my Substack subscribers. Love to see you all in the house, and different folks seeing about us posting on LinkedIn and the Atlassian community. So that's awesome, and we'll make sure to keep everybody posted on those channels as well. And yeah, I think it's time that we start to dive in here. So I've posted a link in the chat. Let me double check. I did actually post this. Yes, I did. Okay, so here's the Trello board we're going to be working through today. If anybody wants to follow along, this is what we've got going on here. So definitely feel free to scoot this over a bit. Feel free to follow along here, or you can share your screen and you'll be good to go. But we're going to kick things off. I'm actually going to talk about forms for Trello by Blue Cat, and Robin would generally be here, but he actually had some family stuff going on last week, and so he's actually not going to be able to join us today. So I am going to carry the Blue Cat flag here today and help you see how you can use forms for Trello. So yeah. So we are going to kick it off, and I'm actually going to show you because I use forms for Trello on my Dear Taco board for my newsletter. And so show you how this works. So in my weekly Substack, which by the way, if you're not already subscribed to, you definitely should be. post the link here in the chat. This is my weekly newsletter all about Trello. I share tips, tricks, and all sorts of things here. And one of the things that I do in every edition is I have a section called Dear Taco. And what happens here is readers can submit questions about things they're trying to do in Trello, and I answer their questions as best I can. And sometimes it's about, is there automation? Are there certain power ups? How would I accomplish this or that? And it's really fun. I've enjoyed it. It's kind of like a Dear Abby thing, but make it Taco and Trello. So the way people can submit questions is they can click this button and it's going to open up this form and it lets you submit your questions. You can say, you know, my name is Taco and tell me more about your struggle. You can say, you know, as you can see, I've got people saying all sorts of stuff here. Sometimes the questions are really simple and sometimes they're like, ooh, okay, this is really convoluted. But if I wanted to, you know, make Trello make me a cup of coffee, how would I do this? And you just click Ask Taco. You can attach screenshots if you want to show me kind of different pieces of your workflow, because sometimes people have very specific parts of their workflow they want to share. And then afterwards, it lets you know you've submitted. There's some more things you can do here. And you can see if you go over here to my Trello board, I've now got a new card for it where I can see here is all of the data from the form. And so it's super easy, great. It's all right there. And this is how I keep track of what I'm answering and going through every week with my with my with my newsletters, so I can, you know, drag things over and show when I've answered them and see who all is on deck here. So super cool. And the way this works under the hood is, oops, that's bulk actions. Also a very cool power up, but not forms. The way this works under the hood is I can, hang on, I really need my button here. I think it's this one. No. There we go. Jeez. Okay. So, under the hood, it's just like any other form builder, right? So I can go over here and I can, you know, say what I want my form to be. I can give it a name. And I can drag over these different fields that do a bunch of different things. So, you know, sure, you might just have your basic sort of description. You've probably seen that. You've probably seen drop downs, etc. Like style it like that. But what I really like about Forms by Blue Cat is you can map things to custom fields. So for instance, let's say there was a custom field that I wanted people to be able to specify the priority. Well, it's going to basically take, this is a, you know, this is a drop down field of a custom field type. And so it's going to, you can save and preview this form, add options to, well, let me get rid of that. You can preview this form and you can see that it's going to actually grab the values. Oh, interesting. It's not showing it because I'm showing my window. But when you click choose, it's going to show the drop down and the different options of exactly what you have in that form. And so, for instance, you could see on my custom fields here for priority, we have all of these different options for high, highest, and these are actually what's populated in the form. And so it's a really great way to be able to literally customize your forms to be exactly what you need them to be, map it to the parts of Trello you need it to, instead of just sitting in the description of it. You can actually make it go to custom fields. You can make it go to labels. You can even map things to due dates and start dates. So if you want someone, maybe you're like, you could ask, when would you prefer when, or, you know, maybe this is, you know, when would you like us to start on this? And when is it really needed by? Maybe that's the due date. I don't know if you do that. Maybe you would just do the due date and say, when would you like this by? And we'll see if we can handle that. But, and people can then, you know, as they fill that out, it's going to map it to those specific fields in Trello. And of course, you have all your usual form choices where you can, you know, map something like, for instance, if you maybe this is your, what's the request, and that could actually go to the card title. You can make it required. You can choose the different types of text that it could be. And you can also incorporate logic. So for instance, maybe you only want to show certain fields when someone has said something to something else. And so that's where you can incorporate that sort of logic, and you can share and embed these forms. So again, I've got, you know, a public link for these forms that I can just send to anybody. They don't have to be part of my Trello board. I could also embed it. So I could, in theory, embed this form on like my website, and we're going to show some different versions of that here in a minute. But yeah, so it's super handy to do that. And that is pretty much it in a nutshell. The high level Forms by Blue Cat. And again, you know, head to the Power Up directory, and you can kind of see a little bit more. Whoops, I keep clicking. every time I click the, like, when I want to go to the Power Up directory, I open the Power Up, and when I want to go to the Power Up, I go to the directory. So, but yeah, you can see more about it on here via the listing, and you can actually see I have a video about how I've used this before, so definitely feel free to check that out if you want. I'll include a link to that here in the description, but it is effectively what I have just shown you all here. And yeah, so feel free to check this out. Their pricing, they go through different plans. The free plan, of course, has some limited features. If you're really using this a lot, you're going to need the business plan, but I think most people will probably fit between the free and basic plan depending on how many responses you're getting there. So and there are discounts with the annual plan, so just want to call that out. But yeah, so definitely check this out. And I will pause there. Are there any questions, or let me go back to my sources here. Are there any questions? Let me check the chat because I'm struggling sometimes to do both. Okay, let's see. We've got become a paid subscriber. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate the shout out. Andy's in the house. Rodney says Trello and Home Assistant integration. I mean, that's pretty cool. There's definitely lots of stuff you can do with that too. Somebody asked me recently about Trello and Apple shortcuts, and I was like, ooh, that's actually a really good question that I've got some stuff I want to share on. So yeah, so that's Blue Cat Forms. And yeah, moving on next to our agenda, we're gonna talk about Google Forms Sync. And Severin, you want to take us through that?
Yeah, sure. So hello again. I'm going to show you another way to collect data into Trello using Google Forms Sync Power Up. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, there we go. Yep, perfect.
All right. Yeah. All right. So a few months ago, we released this Power Up, and it integrates Google Forms with Trello. Before we dive into setup process, I'm gonna show you how does the Power Up work. So here I've prepared a scenario where we are gathering support tickets for an IT team, and I've set up this Trello board and a few Google Forms ahead of time to get us started. So on the left hand side you can see a Trello board, and on the right hand side you can see the Google Forms submission form. So I'm just gonna fill this out. So we have to enter incident description here. So let's say I can't open email attachments. Let's add date, incident date. So let's make it 2 days. Yeah, we can upload a screenshot. So let's do that. All right, and let's enter our email. And now we can set priority here. So since this is very urgent, let's say we give it highest priority. So let me submit the form. And once we submitted the ticket, let's see what happens on the IT supports team Trello board. As you can see, in less than a minute, a new card is created, and it contains all the data the user submitted, and some fields are mapped to the card's custom fields, since they are enabled in this board. So let me get back here, and you can see there is a priority setup with custom field. There was also user email mapped and the date of the incident. So here
Nice.
you can see all the all the data, and the screenshot is uploaded to your Google Drive, since that's how does the Google Forms work, and we can see it. It also is accessible here. And yes. All right. So yeah, so that's how does the Power Up work, and now I will show you the entire setup process. And suppose we need to set up a form for our San Francisco office, and since the Google Forms sync is already installed on this board, I will open it, and let me close this. Yeah, let me open the Power Up, and as you can see, we have already some things set up. And but let's focus on creating a new one. So we need to we have to click Add New, and this opens a view where we have to connect our Google account. I've done this before, so let's just select my account. And the key part here is selecting the form we want to sync. And let's do SF. That stands for San Francisco 1. And
yeah, we're gonna move to San Francisco real quick. Everybody, hop off on the screen. We're just heading to SF real quick.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah, so let's select a Trello list on this board, and we want our cards to be created with a new Trello list. And let's proceed to the card customization settings. As you can see, there's a variety of options to customize your card. For example, placement of new cards in the list. Let's keep them at the bottom of the list. And let's choose card labels. Let's do the San Francisco one. And let's say we want to assign every card submission to me. So I'm gonna do that here. And we also can customize our card title and description. And as you can see, there are available parameters here. And
these are all attributes of the card, right, Severin? Like these are all, or sorry, of the form. So like, are these the different things that they may fill out in the form that you can use? Is that what the parameters are?
Yes, so yeah, the orange ones are the core submission data, like form title, form submission date, and the blue ones are the dynamic ones. They are reflecting all the questions in the form. So
got it.
Let's do a card title that contains incident description, answer to incident description question. I'm gonna leave this field card description blank, so it will generate a default one, but you can use markdown here and also include all the parameters from the form. And since we have custom fields here, let's do some mapping. So I'm gonna do it now. Yeah, it supports all kinds of custom fields, so we can map priority, which is a drop-down field, and yeah, any custom field will work. And there are some other options like initial sync of the form. When checked, it will pull all the responses and create create the cards to your board. And there's also a time zone setting that will do the correct time conversion. So let's.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, let's choose mine. All right, so
just to clarify real quick, this means that someone could put in a date or a time. Like for instance, if I'm filling out the card in, Eastern time, and I say 3:00, it's going to convert my 3:00 Eastern to what time that is in Warsaw, correct?
Yeah, since the syncing happens on the server, we don't know what time zone what time did the user what time zone has
Yeah,
has
you
the
like you don't
user.
know I'm in Eastern. You
Yeah.
just know whatever
Yes.
date you get convert or whatever time,
Yeah.
make that Warsaw time.
Yes. So
Got it.
so usually let's we have to put the time zone to be sure that the date will be correctly converted. All right, so we can save this and it should create a new sync here. Yeah. And I've prepared yeah, I've already prepared the support ticket for our San Francisco form, and let's proceed and submit it. And as I said, it usually takes less than a minute to card to pop up in your board, but it happens usually quicker than that.
You know, I
Oh,
I always joke anytime any of that it like takes it a second time. Like there was this comedian that was like, it's got to go to space and back. Like, you know, give it a second.
that's right.
There. This is the constant problem of demoing Trello stuff, isn't it? Every time you demo, like things take longer.
Yes. Well, it's because you're live streaming and like there's so many things like taking your bandwidth and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you can see, all the data is submitted. You can see that I was assigned to this card automatically. There's label as well, and yeah, that's all about Google Forms sync. And I have some good news for Typeform users because we have recently published Typeform sync, which is a really similar power up to this one presented today, and it's part of Handy Power Ups pack that includes a couple of other helpful tools. So you can test it out with 4-day trial, and then you can use 40% off discount we have provided for all participants.
Can I ask a question about the Typeform sync? I know we're talking about Google Form sync, but there is a Typeform power up, but it's really limited. Does your Typeform sync kind of map everything from the form into like Trello custom fields and all of the?
Yes, it's really similar to the Google Forms one, and you can have multiple syncs on one board. And I know this official one is limited to one form per one board. And here you can do a lot of customization, and basically it works as Google Forms one.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing. I really hope you found this demo helpful, and thank you so much for your time and attention.
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing and that was awesome. That's really cool to see. I had wondered for the longest time. I was shocked there was not a Google Forms sync power up because so many people are using Google Forms and like you said, I was just like, you know, previously what I would have to tell people is go to Zapier and make a zap. Like, you know, that's what you're going to have to do and it's most people don't want to do that much work. So, yeah. So thank you so much for sharing and pass over to you, Con, if you want to show us your forms.
Yep, give me a sec. I will share my window. All right. All right.
Is that the corgi? Is that the corgi? The corgi might need to help present. I'm just saying.
One of the corgis, yeah, the two corgis.
One of the corgis. Okay.
Alrighty. Let me switch back into my tab. So you're also my screen. Okay. So, yeah. So hi everybody. My name is Khan. I made the Tiny Power Ups Club as pretty much a side project, weekend project over the last few years after I left Trello, and it's essentially just the original Power Pack, like that Power Ups pack, where you just get a bunch of power ups for like super cheap. And let's just get started into forms. So I didn't really prepare a demo. I just woke up. And so I have this demo board here with some custom fields on it and some power-ups installed. Primarily, the one I'm interested in is this one here, is the forms. Not too different from BlueCat, where you can just name your form. Let's just do, like bug report. Let's say so the fields here are the card fields here, and so you can kind of remap the fields to what you want it to be. So like, what's the problem? Like, please explain. Make it a required field. Make it nice. Make it a single line. You can kind of map it to labels as well. You can actually allow folks to actually pick a label. Basically, if it's a drop down or a checkbox. Let's say I want it to be a drop down. I want it to be, let's just keep it as it is. You can filter the labels. I'm just going to have all the labels there. And then, of course, you can also do priority, custom fields, as we all love. So you just add it all in here. You can rename the fields. You can add descriptions, placeholders, make it required or not. And then you can also make it like dependent on one another as well. So say if I say I only want say, for example, risks to show up if, let me see, click that. Oh, demo guards, come on, there we go.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Let's say if risk labels is not empty, so say so this field is connected. I can go ahead and also be here to pick which list I want it to go into. So let's do that, and then you can do some like hello world. Report bug. So you can customize your form over here, and then like thanks for reporting the bug. You can add multiple selections. You can be in Trello. You can also like change the background. Let's say you mentioned corgis earlier. Let's make it just a nice little corgi. Oh, okay. That's pretty cute. And then I'm just going to go ahead and create the form. And now the form's been saved. I just click open, and we have our form here. And so if I go back here and close, let's just submit, like corgi is not working. I am going to make it green. And because I selected a label, risk popped up. So I can, I could do effort. I think effort is a number. These are just the default custom fields that you get. And then click report bug, and thanks for reporting, fam, and it pops up right here because there's no description. That's fair, and I think that's the general gist of the power up. So what I've seen from the users of my power up is that they tend to combine it with my other offerings. So like, for example, external share, right? Once one of their customers users have submitted a form, they tend to kind of share the link back to the user, so they can kind of share the progress of the thing as well. So like, especially if the person is not a Trello user, and so they can actually like a person who reported the thing, help. Click save. I can actually write a comment back to the actual board, and it will sync here. That's a bug. I probably should fix that. And some other cool things you can do. So if I copy this, not this one, this one here. If I copy this guy here, what's neat about it is you can actually just paste it into the form, and you can actually use it within Trello itself.
Ooh, that's cool.
And you can do the same thing in say, for example, Confluence and even Jira. So you can actually embed it into a Confluence page just by pasting the URL.
So it's like a smart link, basically.
It's pretty much a smart links, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, funny enough, I made the whole smart link. I made this feature when I was at Trello.
So you knew what was going on there under the hood. Yeah, that's awesome.
I also made the confetti feature. So
yes, that's my favorite.
It's like, for those who don't know,
I was gonna say you gotta show the confetti feature now. Whee! That's super handy.
And then so I think that's the general gist of my power up. Like, it's not meant to be super powerful. The idea behind, and I guess the philosophy behind tiny power ups is that I wanted to build kind of sustainable software because it's just me running this whole collection of power ups. I think it's like 17, 18 power ups now. And I don't want it to like bloat it with features. I just want to build like simple utility I guess, functionality into Trello to kind of help people just with their just very niche use cases. And so yeah, check it out. There's a bunch of them here. Table view is pretty cool. I think my personal favorite is the advanced card covers. If you don't mind me just kind of do a quick plug.
No, go for it. Please do. Yeah.
I use this a lot.
Yeah, recently I added the generative AI. I think this should still work. Corgis in space. Hopefully the model is online right now, but it takes a minute. There you go. And then you can do like corgis are cool. Make it like comic. No. Oh, that's a bug. I think that's you fix that. Anyway, and you can set the cover. And what's really cool about advanced card covers is that like it can do something that most Power Apps cannot do, is essentially set a cover without actually adding an attachment. So
that's nice.
Magic. Some insider.
One of the things I do with card covers is if instead of putting text in the card cover, if you use an emoji, like so say you've got like a border, it's got like you can just a single emoji and it comes up perfectly sized. So then you've got the card title and then the emoji and a background color. That's one of the things I use it for.
Ooh, that's smart.
Nice, that's cool. Yeah.
A quick question for you, Khan. And this kind of it's going to follow up with one of the things that I love about using forms. When your form submission comes in, does it populate? Does it push the form into Trello and then populate the custom fields after?
I believe so. Yeah. So
I was going to say one of the great things about these form power ups as well is use them in combination with Trello automation. So the form comes in as soon as the information starts loading into the form. You can have automations already running to categorize these things, move into the right thing lists, and add the right people to them. So you can create quite a great automated system with the form submission. So I definitely recommend that people look into that as well.
Yeah, that's a really good tip too. Is for sorting things around. If you looked at any of these and you were like, oh, what I want to do more when it gets in there, you could probably do that with Trello automation. So it's a really good call out. Mike, do you want to share our board? Well, our board.
Yes.
You mostly put this one together, and let's test out some forms. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, so I think Britt's already shared the link. So anyone who's watching, if you can go to this board, it's a public board, so you should be able to see it. And what we've done is we've just tried to load it up with some information, and this might be a format that we use going forward to sort of practice what we preach with Trello. But you can access the web pages for all the free featured power ups here. So Tiny Power Ups Club, the MIG web page, and Blue Cat form. So you can go to there and you can look at a bit more information about the power ups they've got and also pricing information, that kind of thing. And one thing I've done is set up a little sample of forms. And one of the great things about these forms is you can open them up as links in a web page. And as Khan showed, you can embed it as a Trello link, but also you can embed it into web pages. So I've quickly put together a sample of forms at this site here, this link here, dreamsuite.app/trailblazers, and it's basically a page with 3 different forms. And if everyone who's watching can go to this page and start filling out these forms, we'll see that the Trello board will start loading up. So they're very simple. It's just a question for each form. So Blue Cat sample is we'd love to know where you're joining from. So you can, the name is compulsory, but you can just make up a name if you don't want to put your own. And then you've got a bunch of regions that you can select. Now, I just wanted to show a bit of conditional logic that set up in the form. So if you select other, it brings up a pop-up box so you can type in other. So
I actually used that. I had to put other because, well, not in the region I was from, but in the, maybe it was the Tiny Forms one. I had to do, where I've heard it from. Well, I heard it from myself. So,
so you can see that.
Yeah.
So I've submitted the Blue Cat form, and that's already come through onto the form submissions here. And it's put if other Mars. I can see many people are doing the same. So I'm going to go down and carry on with the Tiny Form example. So how did you find out about this event? Again, I've got a few suggestions and another. So if you collect other, it does that. So I'm going to say I got it from the Atlassian community and click submit. And then finally, there's the Google form sync. Tell us what you'd like to see. Perhaps this question is the most important one for us because we want to shape future events around what people want to see. So if you can fill that one in and tell us what you'd like to see.
Yeah, definitely. And, I'm thinking all sorts of stuff. It doesn't have to be limited to power-ups. Like I
Yeah,
had a lot of
exactly.
people say I'd like to see like, power-ups for reporting. We're happy. We definitely want to keep doing this series of, Mighty Morphin Power Up Rangers, but we, can go in and out of things and keep them themed. So if you're
Yeah,
wanting to see other stuff,
this series is going to kind of carry on going, and there's going to be future power-up related events. But in the meantime, we've also got lots of other things we could talk endlessly about Trello. So yeah,
we really can.
if we were left to our own devices and we had the luxury to, we'd probably talk about everything Trello every day until everyone
Our
gets
partners
fed
can attest to this. We really can.
So yeah, and so you can see that all of the submissions are now coming in to the form. So they've all got slightly different formats in terms of how they come into the card, but essentially they do the same thing. So you can see the names of the people, you can see the custom fields filled in on the forms. And so, for example, on the tiny form sample, it shows other, and then someone's put myself. So yeah, this is a way that you can get forms in, and like I said, it's all pretty rapid as well. So you pretty much submit, and then they're available for you to use.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you for putting all this together. The time zones are great. I just woke up this morning and we will often, one of us will be inspired by something while the other is in a time zone of sleep, and we wake up to all sorts of Trello magic. And this was the Trello magic I woke up to this morning. So thank you for putting that together, Mike. And yeah, that is super awesome. So are there any other questions or anything else, closing thoughts that anybody wants to share? Severin, Khan, anybody free to speak here or in the chat. If you've got any questions, share them, and we're happy to discuss.
I have a question for Severin and Khan, and that is, so you both of you develop multiple power-ups. So just want to find out if there's any new stuff that you're looking into, or any changes to any of the power-ups that exist at the moment.
Yeah, so in my case, there are some works going underway for new power-ups. They will be definitely coming soon. So yeah, I can say that one of them will include board permissions. We know it's really limited now in the Trello, and we are trying to make it. We are trying to let people set the permissions for the users for the more detailed actions.
That's interesting, because that is one of the things that comes up most on the
so much. Oh yes.
And I always counter it and say, well, Trello's designed to be an open collaboration platform, so you shouldn't need that many restrictions. But there is obviously a need for it, because so many people are asking the question. So that could be really handy.
Absolutely.
I actually don't have anything coming.
Khan's like, I'm trying to slow things down here.
Funny you say that. I actually am. So one of the things I have been working on the weekend for Tiny Power Ups is actually trying to reduce the hosting costs on AWS and just all the other services that I use to kind of maintain this website, or I guess this suite of Power Ups. It used to cost, I think a few months ago, it was costing me about like $600 a month just to operate, because it was getting so much traffic and the price was super low. So I wasn't actually making that much out of it. And so I was able to kind of move things around. I stopped using AWS. I moved things to Render. I consolidated all my front end code into, I think I'm using Netlify now. I moved off Excel and all that stuff. And so like, its cost has gone down to like $100-$200. And I think there's still some optimizations I want to do. I get a lot of joy from doing these things, because like I'm a staff engineer at a big company, and I don't get to code as much as I like to. And so on the weekend, this is my opportunity to do things that I normally don't get to do at work, because I'm spending most of my time just in meetings and writing documents. But I'm always going to build new power-ups. Like I have this list on my Trello board full of new ideas. It's just really a matter of just finding time to do it. And a fun fact, all the power-ups I've built have exclusively been worked on Saturdays and Sunday afternoons. So that's
impressive.
I don't work on it during the week.
A literal weekends projects. I love it.
Yeah. To be honest, the Tiny Power Ups Club has been. I found it so useful over the years because I guess because you sort of were within Trello for a while. The one thing it's for me, a lot of the power ups in Tiny Power Ups Club, they plug holes in things that Trello sort of did and then didn't fully complete them. Like for example, the table view. Your table view is so much more powerful than the Trello's table view, and so it just plugs a few holes in a lot of places, which is why I love it. So yeah, it's really great.
I can talk to that. Like, funnily enough, the table view in Trello that you use, the one that Trello offers, I originally wrote that when I was at Trello. And so I took a lot of learnings from that and kind of rebuilt it from the ground up after I left, because I had a lot of like, oh man, I could have done it better this way, I could have done it better that way. And it's just like without the limitations of like just being at work and kind of following your processes and stuff, like I was able to just hack things up a lot faster and experiment a lot faster and just do things. I just also took a lot of inspiration from my colleagues at JXL. They do the spreadsheet for Jira app, and they have an amazing UI and they have an amazing like front end developer on that. And so I took a lot of inspiration from them. So check it out if you're using Jira. They're super cool, super useful. But it's very much a table view for Jira.
Yeah, can't you mention Jira twice? There should be a klaxon that goes off when.
Yes, I was gonna say if you say yeah, you also what is the thing we said the other day? If you say Jira 3 times, Rodney shows up. But I think he's already here, so I mean, I don't know what happens there. I guess Rodney preempted it. He knew Jira was going to be said 3 times, so
still one more left.
Yeah.
I'm still an Atlassian, so I gotta.
It runs deep, clearly.
You got to rep.
I've got another question just for both of you as well. What, as Power Up developers, what would be the one feature that Trello doesn't have that you wish it did right now?
Ooh, that's a good question, Mike.
So when I was on the platform, and still to this day, probably gonna say it, and I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna agree, is that they should have mobile support in the mobile apps. So the API.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably never gonna happen, just based on what I know. Maybe someday, but I really doubt it.
On this, I wish we could use power ups in the mobile app as well.
Yeah, that would be handy. I do appreciate that. It seems like the workaround a lot of power ups will try to do for that is try to sync with specific fields, like whether it's custom fields or labels or cards moving into lists and stuff. Like I know Card Done and Colorful Budgets and Amazing Fields has different sort of stuff that will kind of you can sort of use it for mobile because they have synced into those things. There's no overlay or anything, but yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
Is there any other questions that people have got on the chat?
I'm not seeing anything else come through in the chat here. I think we've explained, our guests have explained everything perfectly. It makes complete sense. And yeah, there we go. Bob says 1 of 3 of the TJL crew is here. Say Jared 2 more times. I dare you. Alex will just show up. That's what's going to happen. Alex is going to pop up.
I have a spicy question. I'm going to say Jira one more time. How do you feel about Jira, the new Jira rebrand? And it seems like.
Oh boy, Mike has thoughts for you here.
Oh, but what happened to Jira Work Management? Right? It's
just Jira.
It must have been so unbelievably successful.
Yeah, everybody loved it and used it. It was everyone's favorite.
I'm surprised you managed to get through this without a Jira ad popping up on the Trello board, to be honest.
Yes, it's funny. I don't see a lot of Jira stuff unless I go looking for it for the most part. I'll see it from, LinkedIn and obviously I'm connected with a lot of Atlassian creators and fellow Atlassian enthusiasts who enjoy Jira. So I see it, but it's like Mike is specifically targeted. Like he'll see things for Jira inside of Trello and I don't usually see them. I don't know if I'm on some list or just the way the testing works. that's just how the cards have fallen. But yeah,
they realise that I'm a delicate soul, and each time it comes, it just chips away a little bit more of me.
It's
Yeah.
not too bad.
No, we joke about this stuff. We don't have any issue with Jira. We just love Trello and wish Atlassian loved it as much.
Yeah. I think there's definitely plenty of, places where Jira makes a ton of sense. And I think when I was at Team earlier this year, a lot of people asked me, they were like, so Jira or Trello? And I was like, I'm not going to tell you to use, if you're using Jira and it's working perfectly for you, then don't switch. If, you're trying to use Jira, but everybody's like, your marketing team is like deer in the headlights when they come in there, maybe try Trello. And, there's no reason you can't do both. Like you can use Trello to manage your personal sort of tasks and Jira to manage, your specific things you're working on that lead to, production features. But we all know there's way more to our jobs than just, unfortunately, not everything can be tracked in like a GitHub or Jira issue. And so, there's other things you've got to keep track of. So I think, I'm interested to see, because I think Trello's working on a bit of a rebrand as well, trying to kind of play into that, like Jira for work, Trello for, sort of personal work management. And yeah, I mean, I think there's plenty you can do with Trello for work, for personal work, for personal outside of work. So I'm interested to kind of see how that goes. But
that was really telling from our first event as well. When we asked the question, most people that answered were using Trello for both work and personal. So there's very few tools out there that and I know there are some Jira people out there who manage all their home projects. But
and if it works for them, that's awesome. Like I said, I love that. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of things that I definitely find myself, there are things that probably would be more suited to a spreadsheet, but I use Trello just because I'm used to Trello. And so I imagine there's a lot of people doing that with, Jira as well.
So both of you guys, would you entertain developing any apps for Jira?
So yeah, in our case, actually, we are doing some development in terms of apps for Jira as well. So we are starting. We want to check this market out as well.
I'd love to get some understanding when you're a bit further down the process and like your experience comparing developing a Power Up to developing an app.
Yeah.
As a
Forge
developer.
versus JavaScript.
But also how it's supported in terms of like the billing platform and all that kind of thing.
The marketplace, that too. Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, but I feel like the Jira submission, like Jira app submission to the marketplace is like more strict process, and it's a lot of checking stuff and verifications going before we can publish the app to the marketplace. So that's one difference between Trello and Jira.
To answer your question, Mike, I don't plan on shipping any Jira apps anytime soon or ever. Mostly because I do that at work. I maintain a few of the first party integrations. And you guys have any questions about like Atlassian Connect or Forge? I am very intimately familiar with those platforms, being an employee at one point, writing a lot of the code for that stuff. I am a big advocate for Forge. I think the platform is really modern and it is really good for enterprise kind of customers. Like if you're trying to sell an app to, say, IBM or NASA or the White House, right? You don't want third-party servers kind of like getting access to your data, like your Jira data and stuff like that. So what's cool about Forge is that everything runs on-prem, or at least on Atlassian's cloud, and so it stays within like just the Atlassian's like network, and so there's no egress of data. And so from a security standpoint, the Forge versus Trello or Connect and stuff like that, Forge is a lot more secure and it takes into account like performance and kind of like privacy a lot more than what we can do as third-party developers on our own servers. And it also reduces the hosting costs for us as well. I guess I don't need to pay AWS a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good point about Trello. Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure you can get something up and running on Trello quicker than any other tool out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, both. Yeah, I was impressed because I've started tinkering with building my own power up, and I was impressed how much I was actually able to do in like a couple hours on a Friday night. And I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be like a months long project, and I've since like put it down, and I need to pick it back up. But like, I mean, yeah, I was very impressed with how much functionality and use I was able to get out of just spending a couple hours, putting something together. So
If you're building a Trello power up, I can give you a little fun Easter egg to play with that's not documented.
ooh, okay.
Severin, you can use this too. I think it's really cool. You can do t.confetti.
Ooh, okay.
I
T dot confetti.
in my
Yes.
last
So
week,
that's how I can inject
Mhm.
confetti in different. Okay, cool.
Very
That's
much.
good
So
to
in
know.
my last week at Atlassian, I snuck in a PR to add confetti spot for power ups.
Yes. That's
So
a
you can
good
do
Easter egg.
yeah. So it will try to trigger on the context that you are on. So you're on a card handler or on a button handler, it will try to pop confetti from
Yeah.
that.
We're
And you
from
can
okay.
also, within your own iframe, you can call the confetti and pass in the click event, and it will fire confetti
Ooh.
where the mouse is. Or at least it'll try its best to calculate that. But yeah,
Oh my gosh.
pretty
That's
fun.
amazing. Okay, that's great to know.
Actually, my brother found this a couple months ago, so we used it, but I believe it's not working anymore.
Yeah, I think because they were rewriting a lot of the front end from
Yeah.
Backbone to React, and they probably just like left it out. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
but we have been using this. So
That's funny.
that's
Your
funny.
Easter egg was found.
That's good.
I love that. All right. Well, we are nearing the end of our hour, folks.
We just do a quick wrap up with some reminders of how to find
Yes.
people and that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Let me do. There we go. Yes, please.
So again, if you want to find anything out more about the power ups that we've talked about here, we go to this board that we've shared the link to.
I'll share it one more time.
There's links to the power up. It's their web page, is not the actual power up link, but you'll be able to get access the power up link from these websites. So yeah, click on those. In terms of offers, there's a couple of offer codes for MIG power ups that you can use. So Trailblaze 20 and Trailblazer 40. So Surin, am I right in saying that the first one's like a single power up, whereas the 40% is off the whole suite of power ups that you've got?
Yes, that's right.
There's a couple of discount codes that I offer as well if you're interested in any kind of Trello consultancy, or I offer a service that reviews your Trello workspace and offers you how to make it better and stuff. So there's 25% off the review and 10% off pretty much anything that I do. So please, have a look on the website and you can contact me and we can use those discount codes there. I'll just say that there's a link to my LinkedIn profile here and also to the Dream Suite consulting website. And Britt, I don't know if you want to say about your bits.
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, feel free, connect with me on LinkedIn. I share a lot of content on there and I love connecting with folks. I've got a Substack. You can join there. Totally free. There is a premium version, but you get a lot out of the free version as well every week. I actually am behind, and so this morning's edition has not gone out, but it will go out by tomorrow. And so yes, there's a weekly Trello newsletter. And I've also got a book all about Trello. So I took everything I know about Trello and tried to distill it down into the most actionable sort of things. And I have very specific examples. I talk about power ups in there. So definitely check that out. And yeah, that's me.
Okay, I think
Sweet. All right.
Yeah, everyone's good. There's no more questions, so I guess we'll leave it there. This video will be available. I guess you possibly could sneak it into your newsletter this week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this was intentional. I was waiting to send out the newsletter so I could include this video. Yes, thank you, Mike. You knew that. Yes, so I will include it in there, but also wherever you're watching it right now, if you come back to this link, like whether it's on LinkedIn or on YouTube, if you come back to this link, you'll be able to see this because it lives in perpetuity. So but yeah, I'll make sure to share it out in my newsletter as well. So make sure to subscribe there if you want a reminder to look later. But yeah, other than that, thank you all for joining, and we will see you see you for the next time when we're talking about, we haven't officially picked the next one yet, but it's probably going to keep going on in this series about Mighty Morphin Power Up Rangers. So stay tuned, and we'll
I
let
think
you
that
know.
we're most interested in hearing what people want to, what power ups people are interested in hearing from.
Yeah.
So yeah, any suggestions? Yeah, catch us on LinkedIn or on the Atlassian community. There's an article for this event on the Atlassian community, so you can comment there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're really interested to find out what people want to hear about next, so we can start to plan.
You could even comment on this video, even if it's a recording
Yes.
and you're watching the recording. Comment below here and let us know. So, yes. All right. I have to jump for another meeting, but this has been lovely. So great to
Thanks,
see you
guys,
all.
for
Yeah. Thanks,
joining.
Severin and Khan, for joining. And